On Wednesday, after the market closed, some huge companies reported their quarterly figures: Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla, which of course are clients of Nvidia. So they did provide us with some useful information, let's say, especially when it comes to CapEx, because we know if they increase spending, they're probably going to increase spending to buy even more GPUs. And where do you buy the GPUs? You buy them from Nvidia. Now, of course, at the start of the week, we had this whole DeepSeek thing. So all of the semiconductor stocks went down. Why is that? Well, because if for X amount of money you can now have this type of performance, why would you have to spend that much money on even more data center infrastructure and all of that? But since then, Nvidia stock did rebound a little bit, and so did all the other stocks. So let's discuss Microsoft and Meta's main figures in this earnings report, and then talk a bit about what they said during the earnings call, the guidance that was given, and how that affects a company like Nvidia. Now, at the time of making this video, Microsoft is down 4%. Now you might think, oh, Microsoft is down 4%. That must mean that, well, the earnings report was not a good one. Well, actually, no, that's not really true. So let's discuss all of it in this video. Hit all the buttons, would really appreciate that. I know I still owe you a recap of Tesla's earnings report. It was a pretty long live stream yesterday, so thank you very much for joining that. Later today, we still have the live stream with Jose, so the usual Tuesday, Thursday live stream. And then after hours, of course, an Intel video. It's going to be a very, very interesting one that could also affect the company like AMD. So stick around for all of that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. And so a quick recap of what happened for Microsoft for the quarter plus guidance. By the way, guidance is always given during the earnings call, so that's why there is usually a big movement after hours. So revenue beat 1.1%, gross profit beat 2.1%, gross margin 69 basis points. This is, of course, compared to the analyst expectations. Operating margin a bit of 140 basis points, and EPS beating 3.5%. The big misses were operating cash flow and free cash flow for the quarter. Then as for guidance, we've got a miss. Oh, and by the way, also there is a miss here for Intelligent Cloud, which, is quite important. The whole focus is, of course, on Azure. More on that in a second. For the next quarter, revenue missed by 2.3%. All the other business segments missed as well, especially Intelligent Cloud missed by 3.2%. Satya Nadella said the following: "We are innovating across our tech stack and helping customers unlock the full ROI of AI to capture the massive opportunity ahead. Already, our AI business has surpassed an annual revenue run rate of $13 billion, up 175% year on year." I don't know what that means, the AI business, because essentially their whole business is AI related. So there is that. This quarter, Microsoft Cloud revenue was $40.9 billion, up 21% year over year. That's the CFO saying, "We remain committed to balancing operational discipline with continued investment in our cloud and AI infrastructure." With regards to AI scaling investments, the CEO said, "We have more than doubled our overall data center capacity in the last 3 years, and we've added more capacity last year than any other year in our history." Now, one of the big hits of this stock, and also that's exactly when Nvidia went down after hours, after being green. Fiscal year 26 capex growth will be lower than fiscal year 25 growth. Now, read that again. It doesn't say that they are going to decrease capex. No, it's just the growth is slower than fiscal year 2025. And so what do we get? Well, we've got revenue from productivity and business processes that was up 14% year over year. That's Microsoft 365 commercial products, LinkedIn Dynamic products, and all of that. Then revenue in Intelligent Cloud, that was $25.5 billion, an increase of 19%. And in that you have, of course, server products and cloud services that increased 21%, driven by Azure and other cloud services revenue growth of 31%. And then you've got the rest here, including Xbox, Windows OEM devices, search and news, and all of that. That's more personal computing, $14.7 billion, basically flat. Now, the thing with Azure is that this is not the first time in the last couple of quarters where we've seen the year-over-year growth decelerate, not accelerate, right? We've seen that happening here. We go from 28 to 31%, but then we go back down to 30%, which again is not such a big deal. Then we see an acceleration, 34%, but now a deceleration yet again. And remember, it's true that this is decelerating, well, only twice here, but it's still growing 30%, right? 30% on a number that becomes every time bigger and bigger. Here's a more in-depth overview of their outlook for Q3 and the fiscal year 25 full year. They also said that CapEx in Q3 and Q4 should be similar to Q2, which also impacted Nvidia because that means, oh, they might not spend even more money on those GPUs. But this is quite strange, right? Because on the one side, we're all talking about, oh, these huge companies are spending billions and billions, but what's the return on investment, right? When will they reduce spending? And then what we get is actually Microsoft putting up quite good numbers. It's true, cloud decelerated a little bit, still growing 30% year on year on a number that just becomes bigger and bigger every single time. To me, is not a big deal, right? It's actually still quite good. But at the same time, they say we're still going to invest, we're growing, but we're going to invest a bit more, well, naturally, right? We're not going to over-invest or accelerate these investments. No, we're still going to do those investments, which again should be seen as a positive thing for the stock market, right? Because you're now concentrated on growth, but also profitability. But in this case, it's like, no, doesn't matter if you would have invested even more, profitability, we don't care about that, but we want investment. But then on the other side, it's like, oh, DeepSeek going to destroy, why do you invest? So it's like they can't even win here. And then from an Nvidia's perspective, Nvidia was down, I don't know what's happening right now, but from Nvidia's perspective, it's the same thing, just doesn't make any sense. They are still going to spend a significant amount of money in the coming years. And so to me, it doesn't really change that much. Now switching to Meta had another amazing quarter, as you can see, basically beats across the board, small misses here, Reality Labs and ad impressions, small misses. For Q1, revenue did miss 2.5%. There were some FX headwinds there. Total expenses is also a miss for the fiscal year 25, which means it's basically higher than expected. But all in all, this was again a very, very good quarter by Meta. I mean, look at this free cash flow beat by 40.2%. And Meta said a couple of interesting things. So Meta is ramping up its use of custom Broadcom MTIA chips, starting with ranking and recommendation inference for ads and organic content. By 2025, they plan to extend these chips to training workloads, aiming to cut reliance on Nvidia GPUs. Meta is also stretching server lifespan to 5.5 years to lower capex and depreciation costs. We've seen that happen with multiple big tech companies over the last couple of years. Meanwhile, well, that was yesterday, Nvidia was down around 5%, as of course this move could hit their future data center GPU sales. Meta also said that hiring is focused on technical talent with 90% of year-over-year headcount growth in R&D. They're prioritizing infrastructure, monetization, Reality Labs, and Gen AI, while business function hiring stays limited. I'll add here a couple of things. They did say they're not sure where they are in the CapEx cycle. With regards to DeepSeek, that changes nothing about Meta's current CapEx plans, and if anything, the recent news has strengthened conviction that they are focused on the right things, meaning Llama being open sourced. WhatsApp is at 100 million monthly active users in the United States and growing. Threads crossed 320 million monthly active users versus 275 million last quarter and is now adding 1 million new users per day. They're also going to slowly start advertising on that platform, which of course could definitely boost Meta's bottom line. And then the goal for Llama 4 is to be better than any closed source model one can find. And so all in all, to summarize, I think all of these companies are still doing extremely well across the board. I think every time we see a company go down because, well, there were some comments that are made with regards to CapEx and the reaction is quite extreme. I think it's an overreaction. I think all of these companies are still going to spend billions and billions of dollars in data center GPUs and all of that. Yes, it's true. It's true that a lot of them are doing custom chips with Broadcom. This is nothing new, right? This is nothing new, but they've been saying for a while they're offering various chips, especially when you look at Azure, AWS, and all of that. There is a collection of, well, different chips that you can select there. So I think it's always a buy the dip opportunity. Microsoft still an amazing company that, is not growing 34% cloud, but only 30% on a bigger number, which, let's be honest here, is a bit ridiculous. Oh, and a quick comment that was made by Elon Musk with regards to Optimus robot. He said that training compute for Optimus is 10x that of a car. So yeah, I think Tesla, XAI, and all of those folks are still going to buy a significant amount of GPUs from Nvidia. So all in all, that's about it. That's all you need to know. Next video will probably be a quick recap of what happened with Tesla, then the live stream, and then Intel. Oh yeah, there is also a Micron video expected for today, I think. So I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.